Hi, my name is Ryan Riggins, and that's me. That's my mugshot, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to first go through what a typical debt retirement looks like in a household or for an individual, and then I'm going to talk about how you can improve it by what we call snowballing it. So let's get started. This is what a typical debt payoff structure might look like, and I've got an example here. You'll see I've got a couple credit cards, one with a $250 balance, one with an $1,100 balance, medical bill $2,250, a personal loan of $4,200, and an auto loan with a balance of $7,200 for a total of $15,000. Now, you and I both know that if a person has an auto loan, typically it's going to be longer than 2 years. It may or may not be higher than $7,200. Certainly, if you have a mortgage loan, it's going to be longer term. So this is a very short term illustration of how this works. But as you can imagine, the more debt there is and the longer term it is, the higher the impact of the snowball. So right here you can see balance is $250. I have, for easy explanation purposes, I have not accounted for interest on these, but obviously you're going to have interest. So say we had a $250 balance. You're basically going to make 5 months in a row $50. Next month, or during the same period of time, you're making $100 payments on this credit card 2. After credit card 1's done, okay, fine, I've got $50 more a month, but I'm just going to keep going with the flow on credit card 2 at $100 a month. The total of my payments is going to go from $800 to $750 after I get credit card 1 done, and so on. So we're just paying off, we're making the minimum payment, or we're making what we understand as a payment based on a schedule that we figured out to pay off whatever debts you might have, and we're not applying anything extra after we pay one off towards the next one. So as you can see in my example, over 2 years, you pay off $15,000 of debt. Really not too bad. That's pretty typical. But what we want to do is put that debt retirement or that debt payoff on steroids and explain what a snowball means. Keep in mind here, we're going from $800 down to $750. As you pay things off, $650, $500, and then in the end, $300 is your total. So you're gradually getting maybe a little more discretionary income, but really not the impact that you could if you used a snowball. So here's what happens when you snowball it. We start with the $250, we pay that off, we take that $50 that we were paying on credit card 1 and we throw it at credit card 2. We do that, so we're making $150 payments, and we pay that off in September instead of November in my example, so 2 months early. Then you take that $150 that you were paying, since you don't have credit card 1 anymore, you've paid off credit card 2, you throw that $150 at the medical. So now instead of taking several more months, you pay that off in 3 more months, so you pay that off 3 months early compared to the example of a typical debt payoff plan. You can see why we call it a snowball. So you're going to take the $300, now you're going to apply that to the personal loan. So you go from $200 to $500. As you notice, your amount on the right, the total of your payments is not changing, but you're accomplishing a lot more by paying these off early. So you've taken your $300, you put it against the personal loan, you go $500, $500, $500. Now really your payoff is only $300 after those 3 payments. So you make a $300 payment, you pay that one off 5 months early. That's a big win. You take this $500 that you'd been applying, or well, you take the $200 that you didn't have to put on personal loan and put it on the auto loan, so that increases by a couple $100 that month. And then you take the rest of the $300, throw it at that one for 2 months, a couple $800 payments, and then in the end, you just have one $600 payment. You pay your auto loan off 5 months early as well. You can see what this means if you have a higher balance, or if you have a mortgage loan. Say I added a column here and put a mortgage loan in here. what we've seen is when we calculate what a snowball debt payoff does for a household, typically if they have a mortgage and there's nothing exponentially wrong with their finances, we can typically show a family or a couple or an individual that they can be completely debt free, even including their mortgage, in about 7 years. That's just tends to be how the math works if a person has a mortgage. If you don't have a mortgage, it can be a lot sooner than that. So we like to see when our customers do this, or when people applying for a loan have this type of discipline. Because really, if you think about it, you're making here, you're going from 800 to 300, so you're gradually gaining a little bit of discretionary income, but it's really not working for you. If you give most people $50 extra a month, that's going to go to something that's not really that impactful. Even as you go from $750 to $650, an extra $100 a month, it's great. It can be helpful, but it's $100. Whereas if you stay the course and go $800 all the way through, in my example, or whatever your total is per month when you start, all of a sudden, boom, right here, you got no debt and you got an extra $800 a month, then you can really do something. You can start saving up for a down payment on a house, or if there's you want to give to your church, or you want to give more to people in need, or you want to start investing. Those are all great things to do. So hopefully this made a little bit of sense. Like I explained, my name's Ryan. If you guys ever need anything, feel free to give me a holler, and hopefully I'll talk to a couple of you, but more than that, I hope that this helps you in your personal finances, and that if I ever do talk to you, I can hear about some win stories and you being either debt-free or on the road to being debt-free, and being in a really good spot financially for yourself and your current family or future family. Thanks, guys.